this is a big crowd. This is a big crowd. Wow. Thank you very much. Oh, you know, this was supposed to be a small little stopover. You got 20,000 people here. This was going to be a little stopover, Tim. No, this is great. We were just going to stop over real quick, a little group of people. This is not a little group of people. Hello, North Carolina. This is going to happen. I predict, let's make a prediction. This will happen on Tuesday, I think, right? This will happen on Tuesday. I think they'll end up having many, many more people than they thought. This is going to be great, but we have to get out and vote. And we will, because I am thrilled to be back in this beautiful state. What a great state. You know, I have a little granddaughter named Carolina. You know that, right? With thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots, which is what you are. You really are. You're amazing people. It's an amazing place. You've been through a lot. Your government has not helped you too much, I can tell you. Your government, FEMA, has let you down because they wanted to spend the money on illegal migrants instead. But we'll be here on January 20th, and you'll see quick service, all right? I'd like to begin by asking a very, very simple question. Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? I don't think so. I don't think so. I've come today with a message of hope for all Americans. With your vote on Tuesday, I will end inflation. I will stop the invasion of massive numbers of criminals that have come into our country. And I will bring back the American dream. We don't have the American dream. We had it. You know, we also had energy independence 4 years ago. This is all you need to know. Kamala broke it. She broke it. We will fix it. I will fix it. It'll be fixed very fast. And America will be bigger, better, bolder, richer, safer, and stronger than ever before. This election is a choice between whether we will have 4 more years of incompetence and they're grossly incompetent, let's face it. They are the worst. That's no president. But I shouldn't say that. No, inclusion, I shouldn't say that. You ever hear her? We want to be a unified country. We want to be a unified country. She said the other day, we want to be unified. We don't want to say bad things about anybody, including our opponent. He's Hitler. You ever hear it? She talks about unity and then she calls me Hitler. Or whether we begin the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. And I'm asking you to be excited about the future. You're going to be excited about the future. It's such a great area. This whole area is. And I'm asking you to dream big. Again, we're going to dream big, and we're going to make this America's new golden age. It's going to be the golden age. Every problem facing us can be solved, but now the fate of our nation is in your hands. We win this state, we're going to win the whole ball game, you know. And we've won it twice before. And we won it quite easily. And by the way, Michael did a fantastic job. He did so well. You know, he stopped the steal. He stopped the cheating here. They didn't stop it in some other states. But he did so well, and we did so well here. I said, Michael, how would you like to run the whole damn thing, right? And then I said, what other star do I get? And I said, maybe my biggest star of all, Lara from your backyard. Lara. I got Lara from your backyard. She's great. She's great. Good couple, too, right? That's a good team. Eric and Lara. On Tuesday, you have to stand up and you have to tell Kamala that you've had enough, you can't take it anymore, you're grossly incompetent. Kamala, you're fired. Get out of here. You're fired. Get the hell out. Get out of here. We got to fix our country. I watched her this morning. She gives these press conferences that last like about 2 minutes. It's the weirdest thing. You know, I get all set. I want to watch something, right? Ladies and gentlemen, the vice president, oh good. She comes onto the stage like for 2 minutes, and all she does is talk about me. She never talks about what she's going to do. Donald Trump. Did you ever see the clip where they go, Donald Trump? The last time she spoke, she mentioned my name like 28 times or something. She didn't talk about what she was going to do, and economically, she doesn't know anything. In fact, what she's proposing, well, wait a minute. You just saw, you were going to go over it in a second, the worst numbers I've ever seen. How good was that? To get those numbers 4 days before the vote was, thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir. No, you would have liked that on one of your races, wouldn't you? But no, to get those numbers, we had the worst numbers, I think, maybe like sort of ever. And they were like 4 days. And I want people to remember it because, you know, a lot of people said, well, this won't affect the election because a lot of people aren't thinking about that. Of course, these people, they'll say, look at all of them. Look at all of the fake news. They say all of that. They always say that. But I think it's unbelievable timing. If I had my choice I think it's perfect. I covered it last night. We were in Milwaukee, in the biggest arena you've ever seen, same size as Madison Square Garden. It was packed hours before the event. We could have filled it up twice. And that's Wisconsin, the great state of Wisconsin. And a great Green Bay player, the great Brett Favre, you know, he endorsed me. He endorsed me, and that's a big thing in Wisconsin. He was on the Packers, as football fans know. He could rip the ball. He could throw that ball so hard, so fast. Sometimes it would hit the receiver in the face. He couldn't see the ball was coming so fast. It was a lot of embarrassment, you know. It just ripped the ball into their hands, and he was great. I shook his hand. He had the biggest hand I've ever seen. Now I know why he threw. His hand was like 3 times the size of a normal hand. His fingers were like sausages. I said, they're the big. I looked at it. I said, that's the biggest hand. I mean, you know. And so he was born to do that. But you know what? He said, I've never done this before. He did a beautiful little speech, and he said, I've never done this before. I've never endorsed anybody. I'm endorsing President Trump because we want him to just do the same job he did. Really nice. Really nice. Never did it before. For these past few years, we've been fighting to take back our country, and it's been a failed and corrupt administration, a horrible administration, an administration that, you know, you like to see like a football coach. He brings something there. He brings a little esprit de corps. There's no esprit de corps. Biden, look at, and by the way, they're fighting like hell, the two of them. Biden said, you stole my presidency, and you're no better than I am. No, it's the same thing. I think the numbers, I think Joe, maybe, we're going to see on Tuesday, right? But I think Joe might have done better. But Joe, the reports are, look, he hates me. We had a debate. He didn't do too well, but that's okay because, you know, you don't take an election away. He didn't do well. And his numbers went down a little bit. And you know what happened? They walked in and they said, you're not running anymore. Get out. You're out of the race. This is the president of the United States that they did this. It was a coup. I don't like the word, but it was a coup. But it was sort of worse than a coup because a coup takes a little more time. This was like Crazy Nancy and some others. They walked in. She's crazy as a bedbug. And somebody should look at her Visa stock. She sold her position. This is a woman started off with nothing. Now she's worth $200 million. Do you think she's been honest? No, she has a big position in Visa. Right? I think it's Visa, one of them, whatever, who the hell cares, but it's Visa. And, you know, she plays the market. It's not really playing when you have the information she's got. So she sold her entire position the day before it was announced that Visa's under massive investigation. Now, Is the fake news going to do anything about that? I doubt it. Together we have overcome every attack, every abuse, and even 2 assassination attempts. I remember them. And now it all comes down to this. Remember, assassination, nasty, but it really is. I mean, they go after people that are meaningful. They go after people that are meaningful. They go after people that believe in making other countries pay for what they do. We're tired of being ripped off. Consequential, I guess, is the best word. They seem to go after consequential presidents. And I didn't know it was such a dangerous profession. Being president is a very dangerous profession. Who would have thought? But if you look at race car drivers, I have a lot of race car driver friends. You know, I own a job down the road in a place called Charlotte. Have you ever heard of it? And it's been such a pleasure. But we have a lot of the race car drivers who are they're members, and it's been a great place. I'd like to be able to come here sometime and actually play at the course. And the beautiful. I bought a whole big thing there years ago, and it worked out beautiful. It just works so beautifully. But I was talking to somebody, and they were talking about a consequential president, and then all the race car drivers. And I said, let's see. And I asked somebody, and you got to be careful when you talk about this subject. You don't like to say, what's the level of death when you drive a race car driver and you're talking to a race car driver, right? So I did a little. So it's like 1/10 of 1%. And the bulls are a little bit more, 1/10 of 1%. President, it's a lot. That percentage is like up there, high. It's probably the highest thing you can do. Nobody told me this when I was thinking about it. Nobody told me this. But I wouldn't have changed my mind, because we're going to make this country greater than it's ever been before. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country. We had the strongest border in the history of our country. The strongest. Should I bring down my favorite chart of all time? Bring it down. Bring it down. It's my favorite chart of all time. That chart I love. See, right now I'm looking over there. Well, if I was looking over there, I'm gone. If I was looking there, I'm gone. If I'm looking there, there was only one place I could be looking, and that's exactly right there. That's the only place. If I was looking there, no good. And I was looking there, no good. Had to be here, because the lunatic was right there. And I looked over here at the chart, which was right here. I looked over, ping. Can you imagine? I love that chart, Tim. I love that chart. I love it. Even if the numbers were bad, if those numbers were terrible, if I was like in one of the lines to the right, look, it's like an Elon Musk rocket ship. That's what happened. So that was my last day in office. That was the lowest illegal immigration we've ever had. I had it fixed. It was beautiful. And that included trafficking of women. They traffic, mostly it's women, by the way. I hate to tell you that, but it's women. 325,000 children are missing. Can you believe, during their administration? Nobody talks about it. They should be talking about it. That is a human tragedy. 325. Think of what that is. That's take your biggest stadium and multiply it many times and load it up with children. That's what we're talking about. 325,000 children are missing. But look at that. That's the lowest it's been. All those people that you read about that got killed most likely wouldn't have happened. And all that guy had to do is he could have gone to the beach. All he had to do is leave my people. They were doing an incredible job. We have guys like Tom Homan, and fantastic people. And the Border Patrol guys are fantastic. They just endorsed me. They said, he's the greatest president in the history of our country. I said, does that include Abraham Lincoln and George Washington? To them, yes. But the reason they said it is because to them, there's nobody that ever did the border job like I did. And I'd call them all the time. I'd bug them. And I said to them in front of a big audience, I said, how many times, she was the border czar, right? She was in charge of the border. I said, how many times did she call? And they said never. So in almost 4 years, I looked, there were like 10 officials behind me. They all gave me this beautiful endorsement. And they've always endorsed me. They've endorsed me every year. every year, hoping, they were hoping, but they just endorsed me. They're great people. They want this country to be so good. They hate, it's easier for them to let people go in. Just go ahead in. But they don't want people to go in. They love the country, the Border Patrol, and ICE, too. ICE is incredible. But I said, how many times did she call? Sir, she never called. I said, never? None of you guys? We never received a call. She never went to the border. And it's, in my opinion, the single biggest problem we have. I mean, to me, I rate it bigger than inflation. Inflation's terrible. And you saw the horrible numbers we had. The worst numbers I've ever seen, 12,000 people. We had 12,000 jobs. Nobody has 12,000 jobs is nothing. We had 12,000 jobs. It's the worst numbers I've ever seen. I'll fix that. But when she allows 13,099 murderers, these are people that are incarcerated for murder, many of them more than one murder. They're now roaming our country. We have no idea who the hell they are. You know who knows? Our local police, our local law enforcement, and they're going to work with us because we're going to get them the hell out. They know everything about it. So we're just 3 days away from the greatest political victory in world history, but it only happens if you get out and vote, okay? You got to get out and vote. You got to do that. I haven't felt this much heat on me in a long time. That sun is brutal. They'll say, what happened to you? You got really red. The next one, I'm doing another one. Can you believe I do 3 or 4 of these a day? Can you believe it? But this one I like. This one I like. You know what she does? She does like one and then takes a day off. I said, wait a minute. So we've gone now, I think it's 62, 63 days, something like that, in a row. I can't believe I've kept my voice. The big thing is you don't want to lose the voice. Because if you lose the voice, it's no good. It tends to not do well. It tends not to play well for those people in the back. But you know what? 62, 63. And you know who knows that? I call them the women of North Carolina. Where are they? Where are those women? There they are. There they are. But where are the women that I know of North Carolina? I can't believe. Where are they? Huh? Oh, they're coming later. Oh, I've never seen that before. Whoa. They are the most incredible. They've been to 259 rallies. Huh? There's no way they're not here. Where are they? There. Where the hell are they? Put up your hand. You dress so differently today. They've underdressed today a little bit. No, but I think it's like 259 or something. They've been incredible. Oh, there they are. Okay. I'm wondering, where the hell are they? Okay, good. It's good to see you all. You're scattered. I've never seen you scattered before. I put everything on the line for you, and including my life itself. I mean, in all fairness, I don't talk about it, but I did. And I need you to do one thing. We don't want your money. I don't want any money. I don't want anything. All we want is one simple thing. Get out on Tuesday and vote. Because we can't take a chance. Too big to rig. We got to make it too big to rig. We can't let anything happen. With your help, we're going to defeat Kamala Harris, and we're going to make America great again. We're going to make it great. We're going to make America great again. Yesterday it was announced that Kamala's economy added only 12,000 jobs. Nobody's ever heard of that. Look, you've been doing this. Even if you're not into that world too much, I am. But, you see it, 250 jobs. We were doing badly this month, 250. It's usually like 200, 250. Sometimes you have 300, 400. 12,000 jobs. I never heard it before. I've never heard of that number before. It's automatically, you have automatic growth. One of the worst jobs report of all time, they say. I mean, how good is that if you happen to be running against the people that did that, right? It's only good for one thing. Same thing with the border. The border is horrible. It's death, it's destruction, it's the ruination of our country. It's only good for one thing. If you happen to be running against the idiots that allowed this to happen, open border. It's the only thing I can think of. There's no other reason. There's no other reason it's good. We lost nearly 30,000 private sector jobs. Think of that. And the jobs created were mostly government jobs. No, that's easy. You just call up, hire 100,000 people this month, you know. No, we don't want that. We want private jobs. Along with nearly 50,000 manufacturing jobs were lost in a single month. I've never heard of these numbers. These are depression numbers, I hate to tell you. Don't worry, I'll fix it. Don't get scared. Don't worry, because I know what you're doing. Under Kamala's catastrophic agenda, more than 100,000 manufacturing jobs have been wiped out since just the beginning of the year. It's not; these are numbers that are crazy. 150,000 Americans joined the unemployment rolls in October. That's really, you know? I mean, I've got your speaker. I've got a lot of big shots from North Carolina down here. They're looking like, I had nothing to do with it. He said, I had nothing to do with it. In October, but nearly 250,000 people dropped out of the labor force. That's 250,000. They dropped out. They gave up. They basically gave up looking for a job. We cannot take 4 more years of this calamity. You may not be able to take a couple of months more of this. This isn't just... In fact, now that I see these numbers, I think I'm not going to do this. Goodbye, everybody. I'm going to go to the beach. I didn't know I didn't know. Joe Biden is Herbert Hoover. Turned out, I always said I'd hate like hell to be Herbert Hoover. I would. That was 1929, the Great Depression. These are Depression-type numbers. 100% of all net job gains in the past year. This is another beauty. Have gone where? Do you know where? To migrants. 100% of the job openings have gone to migrants, taking jobs from more than anybody else, and you haven't seen the numbers. And I think your speakers should ask Washington for those numbers because they're really bad. You know where they came from? African-American jobs. They've taken the African-American jobs. Migrants coming in illegally have taken African-American jobs. People that have done a great job. They've worked there for 20, 25 years in different places. And to a lesser extent, Hispanic jobs, but large numbers of African-Americans. It's going to probably be announced right after the election. They should be forced to announce it before the election because I'll tell you, they won't get one African-American vote. They're letting these people come in by the millions, and they're taking jobs of African-Americans. And you're going to see it right after the election. They'll announce it. And they did another thing. They had 818,000 jobs that were fake. They were fake jobs. They were made-up jobs. They were fraud. If I did it, they'd throw you into the penitentiary for 20 years. Crooked Joe Biden. They don't call him Crooked Joe for a reason. I mean, it's a reason they call him that. He's a crooked guy. And she knew everything about it. They created 800, and you knew this? It came out like 2 weeks ago, a week ago. They created 818,000 fake jobs. And on top of it, it was just announced that they had to readjust last month and create another 112,000 fake jobs. So they thought that they'd do the readjustment. Now, there's never been usually it's an adjustment of like 2,000 jobs or something. So this is almost 1 million jobs that these people defrauded you on because they wanted to go into the election with at least a decent picture. Wasn't great, but at least a decent picture. And we had a whistleblower that blew the whistle and told them that these were fake jobs. And so they've corrected that. And now we just had another whistleblower talking about 112,000 jobs off last month. In other words, last month where the numbers were terrible but okay, not like this, they took 112,000 jobs. So that's almost 1 million jobs between the two of them. And even the $12,000, you're going to see that that's probably a fake number, too. We probably went into negative numbers, which hasn't happened in generations. So I stand before you today as the only candidate who can rescue our economy. This is a really bad thing that's happened. From obliteration and restore it to strength, prosperity, and greatness. And you know what I'm going to do? The first thing, unlike her, they say, what are you going to do about the economy? Well, I grew up in a grass piece of land. I had a backyard that had grass on it. Remember the debate? She said, I grew up with grass on my front yard and some grass on my back. And I'm saying, what the hell is going on? See, I have a little more aptitude for this. I'm really good at this shit. So let me just, you know what we're going to do? We're going to drill, baby, drill like you've never seen before. Right straight there. And for the people in Pennsylvania, we're going to frack, frack, frack. But we're going to drill, baby, drill. And we're going to frack in certain areas. We're going to frack like we've never fracked before. Because we have more energy than any country in the world, including Russia. We're lucky in that regard. Including Russia and Saudi Arabia. They have a lot of oil. We have more than they do. And we were energy independent 4 years ago. Think of that. And your price per gallon was, I always went around and said 187. The government corrected me. It was 184 a gallon. Can you imagine? We got it down to $1.84, and now it's like $3.50, $3.75. But you know, a few months ago it was much higher. You know what they did? They went back to my policies because they were getting crushed. This was going to go over $6 or $7. In California, it was $8.50. Gavin Newsom. He does a terrible job. By the way, she worked with him. You know, she worked with him and destroyed California. And that's Kamala we're talking about. She worked with him, destroyed California. When she was the DA of San Francisco, she destroyed that city. She's the one responsible for the destruction of the best city, probably the best city in our country. And we're not going to let her do that to the United States of America. We can't. If my opponent knew how to fix the economy, it would have already been fixed. So I say, why didn't she do it? Do you ever see where she stands the other day? We are going to do this and that. I just keep going, why haven't you done it? Why haven't you done it? Why haven't you done it? She's going to do it. She's been there for 4 years, almost 4 years. Why the hell haven't they done it? Now today even, she's got some kind of a scheme. Yeah, it's a scheme, but it is a scheme. That she wants to do something, and she announced today, it's, I don't know, something, whatever. Doesn't matter. It's all a lot of bullshit. That's all it is. She announced a scheme. She's going to do something. And when I go to office, when she goes to office, do it tonight. Do it today. You don't wait. She's going to wait. I've got a plan that I'm going to do this or that. Oh, good. Well, do it now. Do it right now. You know, if it's any good. No, she's a total fake. If Kamala, and she's incompetent, which is perhaps worse. If Kamala wins, you are 3 days away from the start of a 1929-style economic depression. I believe that. You know, we have a lot of great analysts. Scott Bessent is one. He's one of the smartest guys on Wall Street. I call him 182, 184, double her IQ, like double, maybe triple. But they say the only reason the stock market is doing good is because they all think Trump is going to be elected. So I believe that's true. I believe it's No, but you have a lot of them. You have this Scott is one of the hottest guys. I hardly know him. I don't know him. But he writes all the time. He thinks that they think that Trump is going to win. And every time we have a good day, you can check out the market. But it seems like the market does very nicely. If I win, you are 3 days away from the best jobs, the biggest paychecks, the brightest economic future that the world has ever seen. Kamala's inflation nightmare. I mean, our economy is bad because of the inflation. No matter how well it does, the inflation just ripped it to pieces. We had no inflation. I had no inflation, virtually nothing. And now they have much higher than what you see, because when you see it, they don't put some of the higher numbers in. It's like the crime reports. The FBI forgot to put a few cities in there, like the worst cities in the country. So the crime report looked like it was pretty even. And he said, well, how come? I don't want to mention the cities because I'm trying to get their votes, okay? I don't want to mention, I want to get their votes, but you can imagine. but they forgot to put a few little cities in there. They're big cities, actually. And then it turned out to be 45% increase in crime. A little difference. It's pretty sad when you have to rely on the FBI and they give you phony numbers too, right? Kamala's inflation nightmares cost a typical American family $30,000 in higher prices, and now she wants to impose the largest tax hike in American history and raise your taxes by $3,000 a year. This is the only person I've ever seen that's running for office that says, we will raise your taxes. You know, all my life I've watched politicians, and they're always saying, we will cut your taxes. We are going to cut. Some of them don't even mean it, but they say it. This one says, we're going to raise your taxes. Well, I want to give, this might be the only time I ever give her credit. If that's true, at least she's being honest. Okay? Right? But I've never heard it before. But at least maybe she's being honest. And if she is, maybe that's even worse for you now. Because she wants to raise, when you think about it, she's going to raise your taxes. I will massively cut taxes for workers and small businesses. And we will have something that I think is just great. You know, she came out with it right as soon as I said it. A couple of weeks later, she came out when she's making a speech. And she said, and I will have, and she said it quickly because she knew she was going to get hammered. I will have no tax on tips. No tax on tips. She got hammered. But we will have copycat. He said copycat. We will have no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security benefits for our seniors. All right? Which of them is the best? Okay, ready? We'll just do this quick. This is a free poll. Because, you know, I pay these guys a lot of money, these pollsters, and I don't even think they send people into the field first. Let's see. It's 51-49. Now, send me a check for $300,000, right? I don't think they even send people into the field. You know what that means. You know, they're supposed to have hundreds of people that go into the field. They make a lot more money when they don't even bother. They say, Trump is leading 51-49. By the way, I think we are leading. You know, we're leading in every poll. But you're going to prove on Tuesday that we're leading by a hell of a lot more than just saying. We have to do it. We have to do it. Okay, ready? No tax on tips, right? No tax, wait. We'll go no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax Social Security. Ready? Face it, number one. Which is the best of the three? No tax on tips. Well, that's not too good. Do any of you work in restaurants? Or who works in a restaurant? Not too many people. You get a lot of money in this place. All right, because when I do that in Nevada, when I do that in Las Vegas, I say no tax on tips. I have to stop the speech, leave the podium for 20 minutes. It blew everything away. Okay. Again, no tax on tips. No tax on overtime. I see. That's right. All those houses you build. Yeah, that's good. No tax on Social Security benefits. And these guys are going to say, Trump has a conflict of interest. He's giving himself a tax break. No, can you believe? Because I'm a senior, I don't feel like a senior. Wait a minute. Do the seniors here feel like seniors? I feel better. I actually feel better than I did 30, 40 years ago, I think. I actually think I'm sharper. Now, there'll be a time when that won't be, but I feel I'm sharper. You have to be sharp when you can escape these monsters back there. These horrible, horrible, dishonest people. You know, the fake news, I came up with the name. Fake news. Unfortunately, there's a mistake with the fake news. The term is not strong enough. I need a stronger. It's fake is the least of it. They are totally corrupt. To lift up American families, I will protect and expand the child tax credit we created. We created it. And I will support a tax credit for family caregivers who take care of their parent or loved one. These are great people. I'll tell you what, these people, if you didn't have caregivers, these family caregivers, we call them angel moms and angel wives, where a husband comes back from the war or something and lots of problems. And If you didn't have them, you know, our hospital system wouldn't be able to survive, literally. It would be, you'd have to make it 3 times bigger. These people have contributed so much, and they, you know, they haven't been recognized. We're going to recognize. We're going to give tax credits to people that take care of people. No, you'd have the people in the hospitals instead of at home in a bedroom with their family, with their mother or their wife or whatever, and or their husband. And they're unbelievable people. And a lot of them are, you know, a lot of them leave. A lot of them say, I can't take it. They say, I didn't sign up for this. I'm sorry, I didn't sign up for this. They say that, and they leave. And people understand that too. But these people, the people, they're angels. They're incredible angels. Our hospital system would not be able to handle it. So I think they deserve it, don't you? It's just, they don't even ask for it. You know, I don't have any big lobby or anything asking me for it. I have lobbies asking me for everything, but I have no lobby asking me for that. It's just something I feel. I've always felt it. I've seen so many of them, met so many of them, and they want to just take care of their son or their husband or their daughter. I mean, they just want to take care of these people. And you could never get that kind of a care in a hospital. As good as a hospital is, as good as the hospitals are, you could never get that kind of care. So it's a beautiful thing, and we're going to do it. We're going to do it immediately. We're going to get it done immediately to rapidly reduce inflation. Thank you, Angel Moms. I will end Kamala's war on American energy, and we will drill, baby, drill. We're going to drill some. And I'm going to tell you that the best thing we can do, look, we're lucky. We have oil and gas, and we have it in abundance. I got ANWR approved in Alaska, which is the biggest, perhaps the biggest in the world. It might be as big as Saudi Arabia. It's massive. Reagan tried to do it. He couldn't get it done. Everybody tried. Everybody, well, the Democrats not so much, but everybody tried, and every Republican tried, I can tell you that. And they tried like hell, and I got it done. I got it done. And we were ready to drill and go, and this guy gets in within the first short period of time. They terminated it. This would have made so much money for our country, would have been so great for Alaska. I love Alaska. My grandfather spent a lot of time in Alaska. He was looking for gold, and then he realized, well, it's hard to find gold, and you'd see what happened to those people. That was our rough life. That was real cold stuff. So he built these little buildings, and they became little hotels for the guys looking for the gold. See, we always had a little entrepreneurial spirit, and he spent a lot of time in Alaska doing that. He was looking for gold, and he said, I could do better with building little hotels along the trail, right? And they actually have one. I think it's like a big landmark deal now. It's really great. It's tiny. It's like a few rooms, but that's the way it was. It was beautiful, but spent a lot of time. This would have been so great for Alaska. It would have been incredible for Alaska and unbelievable for our country. We would have taken care of Asia out of ANWR. And the first thing he did is terminated it. And he also terminated the Keystone pipeline. But he let Russia build Nord Stream 2, which is the biggest pipeline in the world. He let them build Nord Stream 2. Think of that. And I terminated that. I said, no, you're not building it, Russia. You're not building it. I'm sorry, Vladimir. He would ask me, don't do that. I said, I got to do it, Vladimir. It was going to supply all of Europe, Germany mostly, but all of Europe. And I terminated it. And he comes into office, and he immediately approved it. I said, what the hell is he doing that for? And then they say, Donald Trump was soft on Russia. No, that was the biggest project in Russian history, and I terminated it, and they never got it finished. And then this guy comes in, and he lets it go. I tell you, he's the exact opposite. Think of it, the exact opposite. His foreign policy is the absolute worst. Every single foreign policy move he's made, look at Israel. Don't do anything, don't do anything. And at least now they're in a position where there's some defense, where they can defend themselves from what might happen. You know, we're very close. I'll tell you what, we're very close to going into a thing called World War III. And we have people that do not have the mentality to even think about keeping us out. They have no idea. Again, should have never happened, Russia going into Ukraine. Afghanistan would have never happened, never. Getting out was right. I was going to get out, but with dignity and strength, and keep Bagram, which is the big air base. They gave up Bagram. It was 1 hour away from where China makes its missiles. nuclear missiles 1 hour. That's why I would have kept it, not for Afghanistan. 1 hour away, think of it. And he left Bagram, and you know who occupies it now? China occupies it. China. He gave this multi-billion dollars, and this is from many years ago, it was built. Got the biggest runways in the world, can handle anything. The biggest runways, most powerful, deep, thick concrete runways. To build them today would cost billions, tens of billions of dollars. He gave it up like you give up nothing. I'd never seen. Always keep Bagram, and now China occupies Bagram, 1 hour away from where they make their nuclear weapons. It's so sad. What's happened in this 4 years is so sad. And she's now running for president. She shouldn't even be allowed to run for president. I'll cut your energy prices in half within 12 months because we're going to get it going. And to bring jobs back, millions and millions of jobs, we'll give our companies the lowest taxes, the lowest energy costs, the lowest regulatory burdens, and free access to the best and biggest market on the planet, but only for those who make their product right here in the USA and hire American workers for the job. We're going to bring your furniture guys back. You know, I love this state. You know when I got to know your state? When I was in this hotel phase of my life, I did great. I loved those hotels. And I'd come to North Carolina because you had the greatest craftsmen, the greatest everything, right? And they're mostly gone. Where are they? Oh, they're in China. Not them. They didn't even take them. They end up getting jobs where they don't want to do that. They were the most incredible. I said, could you do something with the arm of that chair? Yes, sir. Ding, 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 ding. They were like artists. I said, boy, that's beautiful. Could you do that? Yeah, we can do that. But we can do something better. What? I said, man. And I'm telling you, you had the greatest craftsmen in the world for furniture. And that business has been obliterated by stupid politicians. They're going to all come back. You watch. They're going to all, because we are now going to protect them. We're going to protect them with, as I said, the most beautiful word in the dictionary, tariffs. And if these companies don't make their products here, then they will pay a very stiff tariff when they send their products or bring their products into the United States for the privilege of competing with our companies and our workers. Our companies are going to be protected. I will never apologize for defending America. I will protect our workers. I will protect our jobs. I will protect our borders. I will protect our family. I will protect our women. I'm going to protect our women. I got into so much trouble. You saw that. I said, we will protect, because I keep hearing, I think the women love me. I do, because they know. You know what? If they don't have me, they got millions of people pouring through and coming up to the suburbs. They say the suburban women. Well, the suburbs are under attack right now. When you're home in your house alone and you have this monster that got out of prison, he's got, 6 charges of murdering 6 different people, I think you'd rather have Trump. But here's what I did. And I had a group, very controversial. What I do is very controversial. I don't care. I do the right thing. I want to protect women, but I want to protect our men. I want to protect our children. I want to protect everybody. So I took a little poll. And these horrible people back there said, well, Trump is soft with women. I don't believe I'm soft with. They say Trump is soft. He's very good with men. I don't know. Thank you, men. Thank you, men. No, I'm through the roof with men. She ain't catching us, men, let me tell you. No, I'm great with men, but I'm sort of like soft with the women stuff. And I say, she goes, yeah, it's true, you are. I don't, who said that? She said, I love, good. She's made it up. She goes, yeah, you are, but we love you. So I believe that women have to be protected, men have to be, children, everybody. But women have to be protected when they're at home in suburbia. So when I did it, I said it, I came off stage and my genius is back. Sir, that may be a little bit of a rough statement. What? That you're going to protect women. Tell me why it's a rough statement. They said, well, it's a little self-serving. I mean, they'll say, who do you think you are? I said, yeah, I'm president. I want to protect the women of our country. So I came back out. I said, could I do a poll, please? I love these polls because they're free, I don't have these pulses. 250,000 to interview 12 people, right? So what happens, I came out and I said, is there a crowd like this? This is a big crowd. I said, is there any woman that would be offended by the fact that I said, I am going to protect you as your president? No hands. So I had like 20,000 people. I didn't have one hand. I didn't have one hand, not one hand. Well, there was one woman that did say it. You know, this woman's very smart. She said, was that Pelosi? Who the hell is that? You are a smart one. Wow. No, well, somebody else just said it was a woman who transitioned, you know. But I didn't say it. I didn't say it. I know. You have to be very careful. Everything you say, you know, like there's some women that are very beautiful in the audience. I would never say that because if I said like that, her. We got a lot of her. If I said they were beautiful, that's the end of my political career. You're not allowed to say a woman is beautiful. You're not allowed to say, hello, you're a beautiful woman. You're a beautiful, very beautiful woman. If you do that, that's the end of your political career. But I've never had, you know, I mean, women sort of like it, but you can't do it because we have to remain a politician for 4 more years to straighten out this mess that these stupid people have given us. No, they want you to be very politically correct. And, well, they picked her because they wanted to be politically correct. She was the least qualified person. You had 12 other people, and she was number 13. In every poll, if he got out, but it should have been his decision. You know, he goes through and he gets these 14 million votes. It should have been his position. I don't know how you can just take it away. They really, think of it. This is a famous moment in our country's history. They went in and they said, you're out, to the President of the United States. They said, we're taking your presidency away. He said, no, you're not. He said, yes, we are. And by the next day, he said, yes, you are. They said something. But they went in and they took his presidency away from him like taking candy from a baby. It's really wrong when you think about it. I mean, what's the purpose of the primaries? And it was very shortly after he got the nomination. You know, you're not talking about a long period of time. And they should have done it. Or if they were going to do that, they should have held another primary and let 20 people run. And if she could run too. But they just had it because they wanted to be politically correct, right? And it's a very bad thing for our country, although I happen to probably think of all of the people, she would be my first choice to run against. So I shouldn't be complaining. But I do complain because, you know, as they say, they're a threat to democracy. You know, they say that about me. They always say, Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. He has promised to go after his political opponent and put them in jail. He's terrible. He's promised to put them in jail. That's what they're doing to me. Okay? That's what they're doing to me. Right? Did you hear these people? This stupid woman, she's saying, he has said that he's going to put people in jail and he's going to go after this one and that one. I won't mention their names. But he's going to go after them, put them in jail. And I said, how stupid. That's exactly, I had like 20 calls. She's talking about this. That's what they're trying to do to you. They're trying. But we're going to be very successful. You know, we won the big case in Florida, right? We won a lot of them. They're scammers. As we rescue our economy, I will also restore our borders. Again, I believe the borders are the single biggest problem that this country's had in 100 years because they're disturbing our country. They're really disturbing. What they've done to our country is not even thinkable. Over the past 4 years, Kamala has orchestrated the most egregious betrayal that any leader in American history has ever inflicted upon our people. There's never been anything like this. Again, murderers, drug dealers, gang members, people from mental institutions, the worst people, criminals of all kind. Venezuelan crime is down 72%. Our crime is through the roof. Tell David Muir, he's a real stiff. What a dope. Tell David Muir that he was wrong when he said, well, American crime is down. Because I said crime is up, it's through the roof. I turned out to be right the following day. Tell David Muir our crime is through the roof, and the migrants are causing a lot of it. But she's violated her oath of office. She's eradicated our sovereign border and unleashed an army of gangs and criminal migrants from prisons and jails, from insane asylums and mental institutions. You know, when I say insane asylums and then I say Dr. Hannibal Lecter, does anybody know? They go crazy. They say, oh, he brings up these names out of, well, that's genius, right? Dr. Hannibal Lecter. There's nobody worse than him. Silence of the Lambs. Who the hell else would even remember that? I have a great memory. But they always hit me. I don't bring it up too much because I have to take such a... He brought up Hannibal Lecter. What does that have to do with this? What is it? It has everything to do with it, right? That's who we're allowing into our country. And we don't want to allow that into our country. So I've done something for you that I haven't done in 20 speeches. I brought up Dr. Hannibal Lecter, and we're allowing him in our country. You watch these fake people. They'll say, again, he brought up Hannibal Lecter. It has absolutely nothing to do. You know, I do the weave, right? The weave, it's genius. You bring up Hannibal Lecter. You mention insane asylum, Hannibal Lecter. You go out. Now, there'll be a time in life where the weave won't finish properly at the bottom. And then we can talk. But right now, it's pure genius. Hey, I have an uncle, my uncle, Uncle John, my father's brother. 41 years at MIT, longest-serving professor, has so many degrees, he didn't know what the hell to do with them all in the most complicated... I understand a lot of this stuff. You know, I believe in that. Like, I mean, Jack Nicklaus is not going to produce a bad golfer, right? You know, that's the way it works. It's just one of those things. And it's in the family, and it's whatever. But we have to save this country. We better save this country. And the biggest problem we have, one of the biggest problems is them. Because if we had an honest and honorable press, my job would be so much easier. It would be so much easier. They have forced so many good people out of politics. That's a shame. So many great people have been forced because of them. They're bad people, but they're going to get better. They've lost a lot of credibility. You know, when I first started, they had a 92% or a 93% approval rating. Now they have lower than Congress. The fake news has a lower rating than Congress. How do you get lower than that? But these criminals come from Venezuela, from the Congo, stealing countless American lives. People are coming from countries you've never heard of. 181 countries this year so far are represented. Many of these countries you've never heard of. Today, I want you to hear directly from an incredible mother who I met a week ago, whose world has been totally shattered by Kamala Harris's open border. How stupid it is, her open border. Please watch.
Sunday night, I asked her to not stay up super late because of her coming to work with me in the morning to do her summer school. She said, okay. I told her good night and I love you. I went to bed, not realizing that that was going to be the last time I saw her.
We're best friends.
Yeah. We're going to shake it again.
I woke up to notice she wasn't in her bed. I'm in my heart trying not to lose my mind because I don't know where she is. I finally remembered her phone had a location on, and her phone was pinging just 2 minutes down the road, right behind the skate park. I start driving to the direction the phone was being pinged at, and I see a couple cop cars with lights on. I see yellow tape, and immediately my heart drops and sinks to the bottom of my stomach. My daughter's hands and ankles were both bound. She was strangled to death, left with no pants. And I know in my heart, she fought incredibly hard. She was not going down without a fight.
We begin with two men we're learning are charged with capital murder tonight, accused of killing a 12-year-old girl.
Police say these men strangled her before dumping her into that creek. Both men were in the country illegally.
Apprehended, then released by Border Patrol less than 3 weeks before Jocelyn's death. The men accused of killing Jocelyn Nungare are affiliated with the gang known for brutal violence.
Kamala Harris was in charge of immigration in our borders. If we had better border policies and not open borders and not these catch and release policies, I truly believe this all could have been prevented. Under her being vice president of this country, my daughter's life was ripped away from her. She had her entire life ahead of her.
Happy birthday, dear Jocelyn.
My daughter is 6 feet in the ground based off of policies that she allowed to keep. Kamala Harris did have one job, and she not only failed, not me, she failed my daughter. She failed Jocelyn. You know, she was only 12. President Trump reached out, gave me his sincerest condolences as not a former president, but just as a father, someone who cares. I believe Donald Trump needs to be back in office. I can at least know that my next child will be safe in this country.
Thank you very much. I mean, how sad is that? A couple of days old, shot a couple. Everybody that's seen it, I mean, I saw very strong people. I saw some very strong he-men, very tough guys crying like hell when they read it and saw it. But you have many, many cases like that. And then you have other forms of murder, too, with guns and being run over with cars and trucks. Many, many forms of crime are being committed by very dangerous people that have been allowed to come in. Don't forget, these countries are very smart. I know almost all of the heads are very smart. They're very streetwise. They want to get their prisoners out. They don't want to take care of them. It's expensive, so expensive. They want to get the criminals off the street. They have no place to put them. But now, with the open border, as soon as it happens, I told you at meetings in North Carolina, I said, if they do open border, every country from all over the world, they're going to be dropping their prisoners into this country. And they're criminals in the street. That's why the crimes are down all over the world. They're down. Think of it. They come from far away. The Congo has a rough prison system, a system that makes ours look like it's Trump International Hotel. No, it's a rough system, and they're taking them out of that system. Think of the money they save, not having to take care of somebody for 50 years or whatever it may be. And all of the countries are covered, and all of the continents are covered. 180 or 181 countries. Can you imagine that? And then you see something like what happened with Jocelyn, or what happened with Lake and Riley, what happened with so many others. Far too many to even discuss. But this was a woman I met when I got the endorsement from Border Patrol. That's when I met her. She was such a nice woman. I said, so what happened to my daughter? And I guess they came and took her out of her room or something. It's not even believable. So when you vote on Tuesday, vote in honor of Jocelyn and Lake and Riley and Rachel Morin and every American who's been stolen from us. Maybe you vote in honor of the 325,000 missing children. Think of that. Who would even believe it could be like that? 325. And they're responsible. Just like they pulled the trigger of a gun, they're responsible for that. The day I take the oath of office, the migrant invasion ends and the restoration of our country begins. In Ohio, a small town of 3,000 people has just been besieged. So you have 3,000 people And it's just been besieged by an influx of 3,000 illegal aliens from a country 6,000 miles away that doesn't speak the language and that nobody ever heard of. And the town is like, what do we do? And you know, Springfield, also in Ohio, Springfield has 50,000 people, and they dropped 30,000 people into Springfield, Ohio. Now, the hospitals are a disaster. The schools are a disaster. And on top of everything else, it's a very troubled country that they come from. Tough country, tough. But on top of everything, they don't speak the language. And the mayor's a nice man, and he wants to go and help, and he doesn't know what to do. And all he's doing is looking for interpreters. Think of it. No, you have to move them out. You have to move them out. You can't do this to our country. And this is happening all over the country, all over our country. Actually, and to a certain extent, the world. But the world doesn't let people come in like we do. We let people just come in. We're run by very stupid people. They're low IQ people, very low IQ. She is. If Kamala is reelected, every town in America will be turned into a squalid, dangerous refugee camp. That's what's happening. The United States is now an occupied country, but it will soon be an occupied country no longer. On November 5th, 2024, this will be Liberation Day in America. It's going to be Liberation. On day one, I will launch the largest deportation program in American history. I will rescue every city and town that has been invaded and conquered. These towns have been invaded and conquered, no different than a military invasion, except they don't wear uniforms. That's probably the only difference. And I would say they're probably much more violent, much more vicious. And we will put these bloodthirsty criminals in jail or kick them the hell out of our country. We have to do that. And to expedite removals of Tren de Aragua and other savage gangs, I will invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to target and dismantle every migrant criminal network that's operating on American soil. Think of how far back we have to go, 1798. Who would think that? Because they ran it tough then, but sometimes you have to run it tough. And if they come back into our country, which they want to try and do, and which they'll probably be successful in doing, it's an automatic 10 years in jail with no possibility of parole. And I am hereby calling for the death penalty for any migrant that kills an American citizen or law enforcement officer. Have no choice. And I will immediately ban all sanctuary cities in the United States of America. Sanctuary for criminals. Despite all of the damage that Kamala has caused, she spent the final week of her campaign comparing her political opponents to the evil, the most evil people, mass murderers, all of us. Then Joe Biden called, and he said that we're garbage. We're all garbage, remember? Remember Hillary deplorable, right? I actually said they're deplorable and irredeemable. And I said, oh, she made a terrible mistake. That word irredeemable to me was worse. Actually, it was worse than deplorable. But that one didn't get picked up, Tim. That one didn't get picked up. It was deplorable. It was deplorable that got picked up. And how did that work out for Hillary? Not too good. But garbage is a hell of a lot worse, I think, than deplorable, right? Garbage. We're garbage. My response to Joe and Kamala is very simple. You can't lead America if you don't love Americans. Very easy. And you can't be president if you hate the American people. And they have to be hating us. Everything Kamala says is a lie. Her entire campaign is one hoax and slander after another. But the only way to stop the lies is to swamp them with your votes. You got to do that on Tuesday. Kamala has no vision, no ideas, and no solution. All she ever talks about is Donald Trump.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight, I will speak about Donald Trump. 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 Trump.
Thank you. Thank you very much. There are some people who thrive under pressure, and there are some people that crack, and you got to see her. She's not looking good. I watched her news conference. It was bad. If Kamala can't handle an interview with Joe Rogan, then she can't handle the presidency, and she certainly can't handle Putin and President Xi of China. She will get overwhelmed, a meltdown, and millions of people will die, perhaps. And this is not a charity event. This is an election for the biggest and toughest job anywhere in the world. This is the toughest job in the world, they say. I think probably is. Do you want to lose your life savings because we put a weak and foolish woman in the White House? No. Do you want to lose your job and maybe your house and your pension because Kamala has the economic understanding of a child? That's what it is. If you would have heard her speaking a couple of days ago, she had no idea what she was, like I tell you, these things we're doing. She has no idea what the hell she's talking about. Would you trust Kamala Harris to talk to Russia or China and talk them out of a war? Think she'll talk them out of a war? I don't. She'll talk them into a war. By the way, you know, she went and dealt with the Russian situation with Ukraine, and she was solely responsible. She went in. They put her there 3 days before Putin invaded. She was nearby someplace. She had big meetings with Russia. They invaded 3 days after the meeting, and that's fact, all fact. I give you only fact because I have all these people. If it's anything less than fact, for instance, I tell them, I look at them in the eye, and I say that this is the greatest political movement in the history of our country. There has never been anything close. There has never been anything close. I tell the story about Pat Buchanan. A lot of you know Pat Buchanan. He's a great old-timer, a good guy, too. But he came in second in the New Hampshire primary, right? And it was such a big event that he had a whole, 50-year career, a great career, as a pundit. He was on television because he came in second in one primary in New Hampshire. We won 50 primaries, and then we went on to win the election, and then we did even better the second time. But we're going to do much better the third time, because the first time and the second time, there were nothing like. Look at this. This is supposed to be a quick little stopover. Let me pay my respects to this nice part of North Carolina, and you got 20,000 people. No, this is the greatest political movement, and let me give you a little information. If we win on Tuesday night, and I do hope they're going to call it on Tuesday night. You know, you spend all that money on machines. For 8% of the cost, you could have paper ballots and have real security, and one-day voting, voter ID, identification of the country. In other words, it would be okay. We'd like to have, identification that you're a citizen of the United States of America. But voter ID, how about Gavin Newsom? Did you see what he did? They passed a bill in California where you are not allowed to even ask anyone. Not only don't you have to have voter ID, if you work for the state, if you work for anybody, no matter who you are not allowed to even ask anybody for voter ID. I don't think we'll pass that in North Carolina. No? Fellas, no? I don't think that you guys are going to pay. We got a lot of the big shots from North. I have a feeling that won't be before your legislature too soon, right? No, but think of that. May I see your voter ID, please? Arrest him! The only reason they do that is because they want to cheat. You know, there's no other reason. They want to cheat, and they do cheat. They cheat like hell. That's why we say too big to rig. Nothing is more dangerous than to give immense power to a very weak, incompetent, and low IQ person like Kamala. She's a low IQ person. She can't. I'm not allowed to say that. A lot of wisecracks from the peanut gallery over here, Mr. Chairman. A lot of wise guys. You ought to figure these guys out. They could be good speechwriters, actually. At the end of the day, you need to ask yourself, can you afford to put someone this incompetent in charge of our country's future? And on top of it all, Kamala says she would not do one thing differently. I would not do one thing differently from Joe Biden. Now think of this. That means she's disqualified from running for president. Take a look.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
I stood there on the tarmac watching you check your watch.
The chaotic and deadly U.S. evacuation from Afghanistan stunned Americans and the world and cost the lives of 13 U.S. soldiers.
Would you have done something differently?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
More than 13,000 illegal immigrants convicted of murder have been caught at the border and then released into the United States.
An Afghan national is in custody today after being accused of plotting an election day terrorist attack. The suspect entered the U.S. on a special immigrant visa.
Gut-wrenching new details in the murder of Georgia nursing student Laken Riley. The illegal immigrant suspect, who cops say committed the heinous murder, is a Venezuelan national who crossed the unsecured southern border back in 2022.
2 men investigators say are in the country illegally from Venezuela are charged with capital murder in the death of Jocelyn Nungaray.
A 5th illegal immigrant accused of attacking 2 New York City police officers over the weekend showed no remorse or regret.
Would you have done something differently?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
Only 18% say the economy is in excellent or good condition.
US inflation has hit a new 40-year high, increasing by 9.1% over the financial year.
Authorities saying Train de Aragua, which has been linked with more than 100 criminal investigations here in the U.S., has now been found operating its criminal enterprise in apartment complexes.
Were you the last person in the room? Yes.
So if you want to end this disaster, you have to get out and vote. So important. Get everybody, get friends, get your friends, drag them in. You have some people there. They're couch potatoes, get them off the couch. We're pleased to be joined today by Congressman Dan Bishop, a great guy. Thank you, Dan. Good. Good luck. How's the race going? Good? Mr. AG, right? That's good. He's running for Attorney General. He has my complete and total endorsement, by the way. He's been a great congressman. I was there at the beginning, right? That first day, that was an interesting one, but you've been a great congressman. Now he's running for Attorney General. And I think he'll go pretty much the opposite of what we're talking about here, right? Some of these stupid policies. A great gentleman, a friend of mine. He's been your speaker, and he is really a good speaker. And he's sitting here marking down all the stuff that he's watching. And he says, we're going to do just the opposite. We will do the opposite of no asking for, right? We don't. Can you imagine a thing like that? If you ask for voter ID, they criminally punish you. So I think Tim Moore, North Carolina Speaker, I think he's going to. I have a feeling he's got a lot of good notes. You're doing a great job. Thank you, Tim, very much. Appreciate it. Congressional candidate Pat Harrigan, who's doing very well. Ooh, he's a handsome dude. That's not good. This guy's central casting. Dan, we need a couple of guys that look like that, right? Good. Good luck. I heard you're doing really well. Good. Great job. Secretary of State candidate Chad Brown. Thank you, Chad. Good luck. The RNC chairman, who you know very well. So, I mean, I'm not going to say he has done a great job, but if we don't win, then I'm going to call him up and say, you did a shitty job. But I think we're going to win. RNC chairman Michael Whatley. He's great. Great guy, too. I want to thank Laura also, Laura Trump. She's incredible. You know where she is? In another part of the state campaign. She says, Dad, listen, I got a campaign. I can't. She'd love to hear it. but she's heard it before. And she said, I just want a campaign. But she loves your state, and she's great. And we couldn't do better. And the partnership of these two people has been amazing. North Carolina GOP Chair Jason Simmons. And what a job. Are we doing good? Are we doing good? Good. Feel good about Tuesday, right? That's good, Jason. We have a lot of respect, a lot of confidence, too. Somebody that's been a friend of mine for a long time, an incredible attorney general for a long time, believe it or not. You look at her, she looks so young, but she's been in Florida, and she was tough and smart, but she was also very fair. Pam Bondi, thank you very much, Pam. Thank you, Pam. What a good job she does. She's very deceptive. You look and you say, I wonder, is she tough? Oh, she's tough. She's scary tough, but she's fair, right? Thank you very much, Pam. Beautiful job. And one of the great developers of our country, he's a friend of mine, he was very generous with North Carolina. You know, we were the first ones down here, and I couldn't take my plane because it was a little large for the runway. And he will always be there with his plane. And we flew down, and he's a very successful guy. He wrote a big, fat, beautiful check. We gave it to Franklin. How good is Franklin Graham? We gave it to Franklin Graham. And his name is Steve Witkoff, wherever he may be. Steve, one of the most successful businessmen in the country. And thank you. Very generous guy, too. He's always, he was very generous in Butler. And whenever he sees something, he says, that's okay. That's what I do it for. I think that's why he becomes successful. He loves doing it. Thank you very much, Steve. We appreciate it. And we raised about $7 million for your fund, and we put a lot of it into Franklin. We gave it to some of the best people that do this, and I'm very honored to have done it. And I'll tell you what, they're doing an incredible job. The problem is you're not getting any help from the federal government at all. And you can do something about that on Tuesday. You just remember, because they say, and I think they mean this 100%, it's the worst job since Katrina, and it may be worse than Katrina. And in all fairness, as I said before, they don't have a lot of money because they've spent the money on things that I don't think they're supposed to be spending the money on. So I just want to let you know, but you have some incredible people working on it, and been amazing. And when I was there, I couldn't believe it, what I saw. Houses just ripped out of the foundations. The foundations were ripped out. I'd never saw anything like it. It looked like a tornado, but much wider. You know, tornado goes like a knife, right? I've seen it where it goes right through the forest. I went to so many different tragedies. If you're in the way of those suckers, it's over. And I've seen where tornadoes go straight, and they may only be 15 or 20 yards wide, but if you're in that path, it is over no matter what. Big trucks, 18-wheelers, turned upside down and found 100 yards down the road. Nobody's ever seen anything like that. And sort of this was a combination. This was water, tremendous water. We've never seen water like that. And the destruction was unbelievable, but it was very wide. It was almost the entire, it went to the tip of Florida. That didn't get hit the same way, but you people got hit the hardest probably, and we're going to really help you out. In just a couple of months, we're going to really help you out a lot, okay? Thank you. I also want to send our prayers to everyone here in North Carolina who's receiving and recovering from Hurricane Helene. That was a brutal thing. Just yesterday, it was reported that under Kamala, almost 50% of phone calls to FEMA for the disaster aid were unanswered. Nobody's answering the calls. They're not there. I'll tell you what, I've been there. I haven't seen one federal official. I haven't seen one FEMA person. And I'd ask the people that were devastated, and I'll tell you the most incredible thing. So I didn't want to say it. You always think it, but you don't want to say it. I said, wow, this is going to be devastating for the election, right? But then I said, but I don't care about that right now. I care about helping the people, which I mean. But here's the most amazing stat, and Michael would tell you, I thought if we got 50% of the vote from North Carolina, it would be great. If we got, which is bad for me because this was largely like a Trump-type area, people that have our values, our policies, et cetera, et cetera. This was really, and I would have been happy with 40 or 50%. Nobody had any idea. Then it starts, as you know, the early voting. And up till today, it's just about over with the early voting, you broke the all-time record for voting. Can you believe it? How can you believe it? Right? Now, who would have thought that? I mean, you have people with no houses. You have people, I mean, many people died. People don't, they were missing. Missing is bad, real bad in the case like this, with his water like that. But they were missing. Some will never be found. But who would think that you broke the all-time record? That means you people are incredible. The heart, it's incredible. When I heard that, I said, I don't believe it, but it is an amazing place. I will get you the help that you deserve, but here are the facts on Kamala. She's a radical left Marxist, rated even worse than crazy Bernie Sanders or Pocahontas. Do you know Pocahontas? She destroyed our economy. She was an original creator of defund the police movement, and anybody who wants to defund the police for even 1 week is not worthy of being the President of the United States of America. Kamala vowed to abolish ICE. She pledged to confiscate your guns. Would anybody like to give Kamala their gun? Please raise your hand. We'll pick it up immediately. So crazy. And endorsed a total ban on, you had a ban on handgun ownership that you've never seen anything like it. And by the way, her crime rates were through the roof. Do you know that Chicago has the strongest gun laws by far in the United States? And look what's happening in Chicago. She even called for free sex changes for illegal aliens in detention at taxpayer expense. And perhaps most importantly of all, she lied about working at McDonald's. She never worked at McDonald's. She never worked at McDonald's. So in conclusion, with your vote this November, we are going to fire Kamala and we are going to save America. We will cut your taxes, end inflation, slash your prices, raise your wages, and bring thousands and thousands of factories back to America and back to North Carolina. And we're going to bring those furniture guys back. Some of them are a little older now. Tell them to get ready. They're going to have some good years left. We will build American. We will buy American. We will hire American. I will end the war in Ukraine, which would have never happened if I was president. I will stop the chaos in the Middle East, and I will prevent World War III. We're very close to World War III. Very, very close. We will crush violent crime and give our police the support, protection, resources, and respect that they so dearly deserve. We will strengthen and modernize our military. We will build a missile defense shield, the biggest one anywhere. We're going to build it over our entire country, and a lot of it's going to be made right here in North Carolina. Made in the USA. Going to be made in the USA. We will rebuild our cities, including our capital in Washington, D.C., making them safe, clean, and beautiful again. We will teach our children to love our country, to honor our history, and to always respect our great American flag. And we will put in a bill that if you burn our flag or destroy our flag in any way, it's 1 year in prison. Right? They say it's not constitutional. We're going to have to check that, Tim. They say it's not constitutional. I just think it's crazy. But we are going to do it. We're going to try and get that done. But they do say that, and I don't know whose definition that is, but I think I do. We will get critical race theory and transgender insanity the hell out of our schools. And we will keep men out of women's sports. I will defend religious liberty. I will restore free speech, and I will defend the right to keep and bear arms, your Second Amendment, which is understood. After years of building up foreign nations, defending foreign borders, and protecting foreign lands, We are finally going to build up our country, defend our borders, and protect our citizens. And we will stop illegal immigration once and for all. We will not be invaded. We will not be occupied. We will not be overrun. We will and proud.
Trump is talking.
Everyone will prosper, every family will thrive, and every day will be filled with opportunity and hope and the American dream. We're going to bring back the American dream. But for that to happen, we must defeat Kamala Harris and stop her radical left agenda with a landslide that is just too big to rig. So you have to get out. You have to get out and vote. I'll tell you what. Couple of days, Tuesday, you got to just wake up, and no matter what the hell you're doing, there's nothing that you can do more important. You want to take care of your house, this is more important. You won't own your house anymore. You gotta get out, you gotta vote, because our country is being destroyed. Our country is under siege from the radical left lunatics, and we can't let it happen. You have to get out. For the past 9 years, we have been fighting against the most sinister and corrupt forces on earth. With your vote this election, you can show them once and for all that this nation does not belong to them. This nation belongs to you. It was hardworking patriots like you who built this country, and 3 days from now, it is hardworking patriots like you who are going to save our country. You're going to save it. After all we have been through together, we stand on the verge of the 4 greatest years in American history. That's true. This is so important. This is the most important election you've ever voted in, and I really believe it potentially is the most important election we've ever had. With your help from now until Election Day, we will restore America's promise, and we will bring back the nation that we love. We're going to bring it back. We're going to bring it back fast, too. We are one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. We will never give in. We will never give up. We will never, ever back down, and we will never, ever, ever surrender. Together, we will fight, fight, fight. We will win, win, win. We will vote, vote, vote. Thank you very much. That's what we have to do. November 5th will be the most important day in the history of our country. And together we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America healthy again. RFK Jr. is going to be in charge of that. Is that good? He'll be there. I said, Bobby, just leave the liquid gold alone. Let me handle that. Just leave me alone with the liquid gold. We're going to pay off so much debt and lower your taxes. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you. Thank you, North Carolina. God bless you all. God bless you. Thank you, fellas. Good luck, Dan. Good luck.
Make America great again. There, now you heard me. MAGA. Y'all hear that? MAGA. You're welcome, Emily. thank you all for coming. This is number one of three rallies today. Number one of three. YMCA. Not sure exactly what time the next rally is today, but we'll find out soon. See what I can come up with. He speaks at 4 p.m. Eastern in Salem, Virginia. 4 p.m. Eastern, Salem, Virginia. 7:30 p.m. Eastern in Greensboro, North Carolina. There you go. 4 in Virginia, 7:30 in North Carolina. P.m. Eastern in Virginia. Seven thirty back in North Carolina. 4 and 7:30 are the next speaking times. The rallies, of course, will start before then. In fact, the one in Virginia's already started, but he don't speak for another hour and a half or so there, something like that. Just stay tuned. And we'll see y'all in a little bit.